We have three of us on the line today. So it's me, Tyler, and Aileen. And we're doing the concept of a winter arc. And we're so excited. It's actually our last episode for the year. So we're going to start it off with a moment from each of us. Who wants to go first? Aileen, Tyler, who's feeling the moment?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead, Aileen.
I have a grateful moment. I
Okay.
think I get caught up with work and everything and don't have a time for myself. So this past week I've had it off and I've been able to go, I call them my lucky girl walks because I listen to this thing and I just walk. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm grateful that I've had time to do that every day.
Beautiful. Tyler, do you want to share a moment?
Yeah, I mean, that's so nice. I went to Guatemala. Well, I just got back on Monday, but I was in Guatemala for like a week and a half. So it's my grateful moment, just kind of taking time to just travel and recharge and also not be working was really nice.
How was
I love that.
Guatemala?
It was
Did you love
fun. It
it?
was a lot. It was, yeah, it was a really good time. It was just a lot of moving around. So we had I think 6 different stays the whole time we were there. Just like doing hikes and going from city to city. It was
That's
crazy, but it
awesome.
was very fun.
Nice. Well, I also have
Yeah.
a grateful moment, and I feel like this is very on brand for November. So look at us, all three having grateful moments.
Mm.
Yeah, my grateful moment is moving back from the Bay Area. Finally back in Southern California. I've been released from the shackles of the Bay Area, and I'm finally out. So I made it. But like literally barely made it. I was touch and go there for a second, but I'm happy to be back home and just, focusing on my mental health and everything. So I'm very grateful to be back and I'm grateful that I have a place to come back to because that's always nice. So, yeah, thanks guys for
Yay.
sharing your moments. I mean, you guys want to start sharing our winter arc? So, first, let me explain what a winter arc is and where this came from and how we're here. Naturally, this came from TikTok. That's the only place. Like that's the only place for it to
I've
come from.
never heard of this. I'm like, what the heck is a winter arc? Please
Okay.
explain.
Okay.
You're like, I
So
need to know.
yes, yeah, no. Okay, so winter arc basically is you're just locking in for winter time. So usually like this would come about like January 1st where you're like, "Oh, I'm really going to focus on my goals. I'm going to get my life together. Like these are my New Year's resolutions. I'm going to be a better version of me." The winter arc is basically you're starting it. Usually, I mean, what I've seen, people are starting the winter arc in October. So they had like 90 days of the winter arc. I'm starting it in November, but it's basically your like pre-gaming your New Year's resolution. You're like getting it already set up. So then when New Year's comes, you're already 90 days into your goals. There is no, I need to start this now. No, you're already in there. Things are already started. So that's like what the winter arc is, and you're like locking in. You're locked in, and it could be on anything. You could be physical, you could be focusing on your physical, your mental health, career aspiration, spirituality, anything that you want to focus on and like kind of like better yourself in. That is what your winter arc is. You're basically just locked in during the winter time. So, yeah, that's the winter arc. Any questions?
No, but I
Man.
like the concept.
Okay. This is, I mean, I'll be honest, usually I don't start a winter arc in November. I usually start it in December. Like, I get like, this is when I like take time to like put weight on and stuff like that. And then when December comes, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to like really start focusing on like toning things up and stuff like that. But we're starting a little bit early because I wanted to be on the trend with TikTok. So yeah, we'll each share what our winter arc is and like maybe where it came from and like strategies on like how we plan on achieving our winter arc. And then I
Mhm.
think we'll do like a follow-up episode like halfway through the year just to check in and see where we are and how the winter arc did help. So that's the vibes. Does anyone want to share what their first winter arc is? What their goals are?
I think you should share what your first winter arc is.
You know what? Thank you. Because I actually spent a lot of time on this. I don't mind going first. All right. So I have a couple winter arcs. First, my winter arc, I thought deeply on it on the drive back from the Bay Area because that was like a 6.5 hour drive. So I had time to sit with myself. And the last time I did that drive back, I like committed to going vegan and I was like, all right, so on this drive back, I was like, what are you going to do this time? Like, what big improvement do you want to focus on? And I came up with like a theme for the year. Okay. Like this is very, I feel like this is very corporate America. I do this in like at my job all the time where I'm like, this is the theme for the entire year. This is what I'm going to focusing on, but I'm doing this for me. Theme of my year is doubling down on me. Okay. Yes.
Period.
So this came from, yeah, this came from when I was thinking about it. Like I was like, I should like really like try and be more soft spoken and like really just, and I was like, actually, fuck that. Like I'm great. Why would I want to change anything about myself? I'm doubling down on exactly who I am. So that's the theme of my year for 2025 is just doubling down on me, what I said I'm going to do, all of that stuff. And then I broke it down further. Mine is mostly focused on like career,
Hmm.
so improving the podcast, which I'm trying. We're focusing on like putting ourselves out there a little bit more, not being afraid to like hear no or anything. Like just gonna put myself out there. Just like sticking myself out there, putting my toes in the water, creating content. Sometimes I get like I'll have like bursts of like, oh, I'm gonna create content, like I'm fine with being seen, and then I'm like, actually this is too much. Like I don't want to be perceived at all. So we're not gonna do that anymore. So I'm doubling down on that and then creating community since I just moved back. Like I'm trying to find a place where I can do yoga and do sound
Hmm.
healing. So that's also my second part of my winter arc is just putting myself out there again and like trying to make like connections and networking and stuff like that for people that are like-minded and just kind of like expanding my network and stuff. Also exploring sobriety. So that one I feel like is a big one for me. That was actually what I was thinking about on the drive back home is like that's the thing that I wanted to like kind of really improve on. And then the last one is very important to me and I'm very committed to this one is learning to dance like a video vixen. So those are my
Love
four
that one.
parts. That's the four parts of my winter arc. Um, and I'm serious about all of them. So yeah, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay, go ahead.
Um,
Okay, thank God, because I was like, this one's going to be hard to follow for me.
you're like, wait a minute. You're like, you have some time to think. Mine is really kind of inspired on hibernating
Hmm.
and doing what I want to do. I feel like, well, Jade knows that I feel I'm constantly doing something with people or somewhere. I'm all over the place. Like, I feel like I have a lot of people in my life, and it's like, oh, there's this going on, there's this going on, and this going on. And then towards the end of this year, I'm like, okay, well, what did I do other than go to work and like hang out with people? So I feel like I kind of want to just take a huge step back, still show up for people when it's important, like birthdays and things like that, but really just focusing on me and doing things like moving my body daily, actually getting really good rest, which I have been good about up until the time change. I've been getting 5 hours of sleep since this time change is ruining my life.
Oof.
Yeah. Even today, I woke up and I was like, oh God, help me. Oh, I slept 5 hours. It's been a reoccurring theme since the time change, but I think I just need to get used to it. Working on my business, and I have other business ideas that I want to work on, which are not going to get worked on if I'm just always hanging out with my friends. I'm just kind of reading more, leaning more into my hobbies. I used to sew a lot. I was learning Spanish earlier this year, kind of fell off of that. Just journaling and meditating, and really just kind of sitting with myself and what I actually want to do instead of kind of filling obligations constantly. That's
So
my
like
winter arc.
balancing things. You're going for like a balanced winter arc. You're not going for like
Hmm.
a aggressive like I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to go running
Mm-mm,
and like okay.
mm-mm.
We're easing into this winter arc. I love
Yes.
this. Okay.
Yes.
I love it. Okay, Aileen, what is your winter arc?
Okay, I just have to say every year, my New Year's resolution is to floss my teeth every day because your girl gets
That's a good one.
lazy and I just never do it. So that one has to be part of it because that's just my New Year's resolution every year. But it's funny because today when I was out on a walk, I was thinking to myself, this is the year that Aileen finally steps up on the stage because I think I always take a background. Like if we were all in a play right now, like Tyler and Jade would be the stars of the show, and I'd be like the person in the back doing the lighting or something. And so today I was on this walk and I was like, you know what? This is the year like I step up on the stage and I actually do the things I want to do. So I think in corporate America, it takes your life is surrounded by your job. And I keep telling myself, like, I work so I can live and do what I want to do and not the other way around. So
Mhm.
this is going to be the year where I prioritize the things that I want to do, and I'm just going to become, I think, center stage this year. So I'm going to start like one, prioritizing, like Tyler, like moving my body and doing that sort of thing. Two is really prioritizing health and like what I put into my body instead of just like, oh crap, I got to go to work and I'm just going to go to like, I don't know, Mendocino Farms and eat a sandwich every day, right? It's like meal
Mhm.
prepping and doing that sort of thing. And just prioritizing what I want to do instead of, well, Jade knows like the past, I think, well, ever since I moved to the like NorCal and then moved back, like I've been just constantly working all the time. And it's prioritizing other things and finding a hobby because I apparently don't have one. That's gonna be my winter arc.
I love that.
Those are
You're,
really good ones.
yeah, taking the spotlight. 2025 is taking the spotlight. I fully
Yes.
support. Okay, so this is amazing, but we need to like, what I've learned in life is that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I want to talk about like practical and realistic tips and stuff like that on how we're actually going to achieve our winter arcs because sometimes we'll say things and I have no idea how I'm going to get there. And so then I just give up.
Mhm.
At least for me, like I'd be like, that was a lofty goal. I had no idea how I was going to get there. So I just gave up on it. So, like, do
Mhm.
y'all have any tips on or like any strategies on how you plan on like making your winter arc really pop off? Like, what's the vibes?
For me, I feel like the thing that gets in the way of most of my goals is the idea of, oh, I don't have time. When in reality, I do have time. I'm just putting it into other things. So, Aileen, you're talking about corporate and stuff like that. I also work in corporate, and I feel like it takes up so much time and so much of my life. And also, I feel like when you're not setting boundaries, so I've experienced that multiple times. So I feel like this is more of a thing of, no, I'm going to work my hours. I'm going to do good work in those hours. I'm going to go home and not just like sit around on social media or even peruse emails. Just more so like my time is my time.
Girl,
And if
preach,
that
because that's
means,
me every day.
yep. Literally, this before we sat down to do the podcast, I opened my emails. I'm like, it's Saturday. What do you do? Get off of there. Don't do that.
Yes, I,
They don't need to
well,
talk to us
Jade
right now.
knows. Yeah, I was like constantly like on the phone and doing that. And right now it's like a break just because like I start my new job on Monday. So
hmm
right now I'm just like chilling, but I already know
hmm
like it's going to be a hot mess when I get there. And
hmm
I need to have those boundaries of not getting on there and like looking
hmm
at everything. Anyway,
I think
sorry
you
for
also have
interrupting.
a, no, you're totally fine. I think you have an advantage too. Like you're starting a new job, like you can go in and be like, hey, no, I'm not doing that. Like this is what I can do, this is what I'm gonna do. And I feel like when you're at a job for a while and people are used to you not setting boundaries, because I've experienced that in other jobs, and then you do start setting boundaries, they're like, well, what the hell? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell do you? I want to go home.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I agree with Tyler. I feel like at my last job, I didn't have any boundaries and it was really hard for me to like set new ones. And so when
hmm
I did have the opportunity to start a new job, I just came in with all my boundaries hot. And that's the way that they knew me. They were like, Jay, don't play about like 9 to 5. Okay. She said it's 5:01. She's not answering. Okay.
Get
Mm-hmm.
out.
I do think I agree with Tyler. I think that's going to be great for you to be able to like start off on a fresh foot. But I'm sensing boundaries. That's everyone's thing. Is like making sure that they're sticking to their boundaries with that being like time or just like their schedule and stuff like that. Like we're not playing any games about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Okay, I support. For me, I think one practical way that I plan on like I actually have two. Is like splitting all of my like winter arcs into like smaller goals. I think that that
Hmm.
helps me. And this is kind of like going back to when I did decide I was going to go vegan. I was talking to my therapist and she was like, okay, you want to do all of these things. How are you going to do that? Because some of these things you've tried to do before and you have respectfully failed at. Like, that's okay. We all fail and
Hmm.
we're normalizing failing. But, like, how are you honestly going to do that? Like, what's different about last time? And I had to sit there and think. And I was like, okay, the only thing that I was like really successful at was really going vegan. And the way that I did that was by not going cold turkey and just being like, okay, I'm going to go from like being like a massive carnivore to just eating plants and like fruits and like so how did I do that? Like it took me a really long time. I had to split it into, okay, first I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to do like, and it was like a slow transition. So I think I'm
Hmm.
using my winter arc as like a slow transition to ultimately achieving my goals. So like not like thinking I'm going to conquer all of these things all at once, but like making a smaller goal and achieving that smaller goal and that'll make me feel more comfortable. And then the way that I did that, the way that I like was like, okay, well, what are my smaller goals? You guys
Hmm.
know I get down with AI like real hard. Like me and AI, we go we're besties. So me personally, I use ChatGPT and I just like plugged in my winter goals and if you guys want to do this, you can too, but like I basically told ChatGPT, "Hey, these are my winter arc goals. Create smaller goals. This is like the day that I want to achieve it. Like make me small like goalposts in order for me to like be able to achieve it." So that's the way that I plan on achieving it is like with help and
Hmm.
also just by like taking it slowly. So if y'all want to use ChatGPT, go ahead and pop on that because ChatGPT is real good for creating a schedule, like real good.
I love
So
ChatGPT. I was just
same. And
using
if
it yesterday.
yeah, if anyone ever saw my ChatGPT history, I'm
We're not gonna talk
embarrassed.
about that. It's
ChatGPT history is the new Google
unhinged.
history, and it's concerning. It's fine. It's fine. So, yeah, that's how I plan on achieving it. And then I think the other thing that I'm like hyper aware of is like burning out. Like, do you guys just like burn out of goals sometimes and you're like, I can't do it anymore?
Hmm.
Yeah, like I was
Mhm.
like, how do you like how are we going to like add in rest into these goals? Like are you guys gonna like okay, like well actually I know most of you guys your goals were like circled around like balancing and stuff like that. I guess mine felt a little bit more aggressive. So maybe I should talk about how I plan on incorporating rest into these things. I'll tell you how. I'm so glad you asked. So for me, I know myself. I know my love language. And it's gift giving. Oh, at every little like goal that I achieve, I get a gift. I get a little treat. So that's the way I plan on doing it. So the treat can either be like, okay, you get to buy yourself something or like you can give yourself like a day off from like this goal or whatever. Something like that. But like just giving myself like a little I like to breadcrumb myself a little bit. Like you did this, now you get a treat and then you keep going. So that's the way I plan on like not burning out from my goals. And like
I
even
kind of
some
love
of
that.
them, thank you. Like even some of
Yeah.
them are like one of the goals is like okay, I really want to focus on like making sure that my podcast is doing well and stuff like that. And so like one of the like little treats is like okay, once you like achieve this goal, then you get to go on this wellness retreat. Like that is going to be your gift to yourself for accomplishing XYZ. So I've incorporated rest as the treat. So that's the way I plan on doing it.
It's really
I
good.
love it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that one.
I
And
think
then
I'm going to
also
be stealing some of your ideas for myself.
take it, girl. Take it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I feel like that kind of like wraps up our chat on winter arcs. I don't know, anything else, anything that you think might be helpful for people as they're going into like the winter time and stuff like that?
I think the only other thing, like for me, I struggle with like remembering it constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Hmm.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then like I just forget. Like there's too much going on in my life that I'm like, my bad, I forgot. So I think
Hmm.
another thing is to find a way to make it constant, whether it's like sticky notes on your mirror so you see it, or like even like a little vision board or whatever it may be, just having it in different places that you're going to constantly see it every day to kind of make you remember. And I don't
Hmm.
know, it might be like a little alarm or something on your phone that reminds you. But I don't know, I just get too much into the day to day that I forget a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, what's going on? So,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good tip, Aileen, because I do the same thing. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot that I was like hyper focused on that one thing for like 4 days and then gave up on it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, usually like in the morning times, like when I'm like top tier Jade, because like sometimes I ebb and flow, but like in the morning times, I'll do like affirmations. And so maybe including like your goals in those affirmations
mhm.
could be like a good tip. Yeah, like a vision board and stuff like that. But like, I think that's a really great tip because I be forgetting. So thank you for that.
That
Stealing
is a
it.
good one.
Yeah. What about you, Tyler? Anything else that you might think would be helpful for everyone?
I think earlier this year I read, I'm sure a bunch of people have read it too, but Atomic Habits, and that really helps me. Like, 'cause I'll think about like, oh, like habit stacking and this, and that, like all the little ideas from that book kind of help
Hmm.
me out. And also, people don't even have to read it. I feel like you can just Google like the main points
Yeah.
of that book, and
I
it's
was
super
like,
helpful.
can you give me the Cliff Note version?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't remember it right now, but I will send it to you guys.
I didn't read it, but it was like really hot at the beginning of the year. Like everyone was just like, "Yeah, that's a part of the atomic habit theories." And I'm like, "Okay." I never read
Yeah.
it, but I do think the main thing was habit
Habit
stacking,
stacking, yeah.
where you're like doing one thing that you're already used to doing and then
Mm-hmm.
incorporating the new thing that you want to do into that because you're already used to doing it. I think that that
Mm-hmm.
was like one of the main things that I heard people doing.
Yes.
So, yeah. Yep. Okay. That's really helpful too. You're right. We should be habit stacking. And I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to like put these together. I'll figure it out later. It's fine. I'm not going to do it on the fly. That's crazy. But I think that's a really good I think these are really good tips. I'm like, okay, I feel confident and I hope everyone else feels confident during their winter arc. And you know what? If you don't do a winter arc and you're like, I'm just going to wait cuz like honestly, wintertime is the time for rest. Like that is usually when like people are like, okay, I'm going to go into like hibernation mode and then like our energy levels are low and stuff like that. So like I understand like all of these things might be kind of like pushing against like your natural settings during the wintertime. Like
Hmm.
that's completely understandable. If you like to pop out during spring, do that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's usually when things come out, come back alive and stuff like that. So if you're like, okay, that's really cute that you guys think I'm going to do this during wintertime, but it's actually cold outside and I will not be doing any of that. That's fine. We fully support you on
It's
that
not
one.
happening.
All of these things I feel like could be also used during springtime or like any time that you decide that you're going to set a goal and achieve the goal. So, yeah. With that being said, anyone final words? Any final words before we wrap this up in a nice pretty present?
I feel like everybody should
You
make sure they take a nap at least once a week, in the
Okay,
middle of the day for no
yes.
reason.
Bring back naps 2024,
Bring back nap.
I
2025.
agree.
Yes.
I vote for
Okay.
this. I
Okay.
need a nap.
I need a nap right
Okay.
now. I only
Yes, no, saying it's peak napping time actually to be honest with you. But
Mm-hmm.
this is actually our last episode for this year for we're going to be taking off like the end of November to December and we'll be back January 1st with our new episodes. So, we'll talk to you guys then, but we hope that you have a great holiday time. We hope that you rest. We hope that you achieve your goals if you want to, and we hope that you are well. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.